Well, tonight is going to be our final race of 2021 here at the Cottage Grove Speedway, and we have my younger sister Carly, who's 15 years old, behind the wheel for potentially her final sprint car race of the year. Welcome back to today's video. Happy to have you guys hanging out with us here today. The Cottage Grove Speedway, quarter-mile dirt track located here in Cottage Grove, Oregon, usually has a bottom, usually has a top, super slick, and provides multiple lanes of racing. Carly has the most laps here out of any track in the state of Oregon, and I also have my fair share of experience at this place. So it's about race time. We have the pit meeting here in about 15 minutes. Carly's just finalizing her stagger on the race car. How are you feeling going into tonight?
I feel pretty decent. Kind of nervous about the setup we have on, but we won't really know till after qualifying. Track looks pretty good. I think we have like almost 15 cars, so not too bad a car count. Maybe try to chase our second win of the year.
Absolutely, and what Carly means by setup is the masterminds behind the 22C tonight is going to be her, myself, and my dad. We're going to be giving it her best shot, and we just got our baseline on, and then we're going to go from, whatever direction the track decides to go from, hooked up to slick. So we are excited to go racing with Carly tonight, but before we get into it, I wanted to come up to the racetrack and show you just one thing I've noticed with Cottage Grove throughout the year. It seems like throughout the season, the top has started to get a little bit flatter as we went through all the races. And it's a lot more visible now than it ever has been. And I'm not really sure the exact reason, but I think part of it is material gets thrown off the track and then they have to kind of grade it back on and try to get it even. But it'll be interesting to see with the top being a little bit flatter how that affects the racing. I think it's gonna make the bottom better, but at the end of the day, it all just depends where the moisture is at, whether that's down by the berm or up here around the lip. So we have 6 classes tonight here at the Cottage Grove Speedway, so a lot of action on track. Carly's getting ready to get suited up and then she'll be right into engine heat and group qualifying. Qualifying is complete here at the Cottage Grove Speedway. One thing I did not mention earlier is there is a huge chance of rain later tonight, so they're really trying to push the show in. This was supposed to be actually a 2-day show this weekend, but they already canceled tomorrow because Cottage Grove is supposed to get like 2 inches of rain. So tomorrow's out of the picture, but we're hoping to have some more fun tonight. Carly ended up 8th quick there out of 14 limited sprints. Racetrack was actually really weird. It rolled in fast, so Carly didn't have to do many laps out there with all the other divisions for wheel pack. She pulled in. They were the 4th class out for qualifying, but they had the 4 cylinders right in front of them, which have super skinny tires. So I felt like they dug up the track a little and it was almost chunky. It was fast through the middle, but it was really slimy down low. So a lot of guys were kind of getting caught in that slime, Carly included. So we just talked about maybe entering a little farther in the corner and trying to roll around a little bit more of the banking up the track. But she got some more laps. She's in a good spot, 8th quick. That puts her on the pole of the heat race. If she can get out front and make some really good laps, I think she can pull away here. We made a couple of adjustments, but for the most part, we want to keep the car similar, just so she knows what to expect. The racetrack slickened off a little bit, so we just tightened it up, and I'm trying to help her get just a little bit of side bite so she can feel confident when she rolls through the middle, because it is slick on entry. But she's getting strapped in right now. She is in heat race number 2, so we're going to watch the first heat race, run down to her, and try to give her as much valuable information as possible to help her on track. So an absolutely stellar heat race for the 22C. Carly started on the pole, got an alright jump, was able to run the bottom into 1 and 2, but it was just a little slimy down there, so she fell back to second, but then put together some really good laps around the bottom and was able to drive back by to win the heat race. My main question would be, how did the race car feel, and talk about why you decided to run the bottom, because the top was really good in the heat race prior.
The bottom just, to me, looked like it had the most grip, and I couldn't tell if it was grease at the beginning or if it was grip. So I just kind of slid myself a few times, and I realized I did make a mistake entering too high, and then I cut down. I was like, wait, that's actually good down there. So I just ran the bottom. The leader made a few more mistakes than I did, and I fixed mine, and I got the win. So overall, car felt good. Track's pretty good. I hope it's kind of like that for the main, because most likely we start on the pole. Hopefully we can get the win.
Yeah, and with this format, you never know where you're going to start because it's always based off a dice roll. So it's either going to be straight up, and they ended up rolling the 0. So now Carly's going to start front row outside. And the racetrack is very similar to what I would consider Carly's perfect track. Really, really good around the bottom, really good around the top. Not a super slow track, but also not super fast. Kind of just right in the middle to where you can run many different lanes. So we're gonna see how it changes, but with the Pacific Northwest in September, it's not hot, little bit of wind, but it's already starting to cool off a lot, so I can't imagine it's gonna slicken off a ton. So we're gonna make maybe a couple of adjustments, but for the most part, the car seemed really good and Carly drove it well. So we're just doing a quick gear change here before the A-main event. With Carly starting up front, we want to try to obviously dial her in. Let's just say the gear that we're putting in is going to really help Carly on the bottom. We know she loves that part of the racetrack, but also it's not going to hurt her on the top side. I still think it's going to be good up there, but if Carly really tries to perfect the bottom lane, I think this is going to be better than the gear we had in. It'll help her come off the corner, help her hit the bottom, roll through it. So that's one of the changes we're going to make, and then we're just going to continue to watch the racetrack here. We have one more main before we're going to be up. Get a good start, race these guys hard because they're gonna race really hard, and run the top, run the bottom, and be patient in lap traffic. Love you. Don't forget to use your wing. That's your biggest tool.
Okay, we're good. You can do the front.
Well, Carly decided to end her season here at the Cottage Grove Speedway on a high note, so close to her second win. Ran second there behind Johnny Burke for 25 laps nonstop. We have Miles and Carly here. Talk about that race, because it went by in a blink of an eye.
Track surface is pretty good. My style of track, right around bottom. A lot of grip to deal with. I think if I just didn't make as many mistakes as
Miles is wanting to play before we get in the truck.
If I didn't make as many mistakes as I did, I think we definitely could have won it. There was a few times I was gonna thread the needle, but it's all right. It's Cottage Grove. I don't want to ruin my stuff to be our last, race, and I didn't want to ruin his stuff. So overall, finish second, not too bad. Not gonna beat ourselves up about it.
Yeah.
Definitely get a win next year, or multiple wins next year, hopefully. So good way to end the year.
I think ending on a high note. In the surface, you can kind of see it's slick. It was not like that. The skinny tired cars were out before us, and they kind of ripped it up and brought a lot of grip back. Carly mentioned her style, and I'm actually glad we didn't end up tightening up the race car. We didn't really make a lot of changes because it was very similar to the heat race, fast around the bottom. I told you guys we changed gears. That direction we went, we probably could have actually gotten more aggressive and went to the next gear, or even 2 gears, because especially around the bottom, the track just gets so much shorter, and having that speed off the corner and through the corner would have helped. But congrats to our good friend Johnny Burke, his first sprint car win. We went through that feeling with Carly, and I mean, it's just incredible. It's something you'll never forget. So before we head on over to McDonald's, Carly, do you want to thank your sponsors real quick?
Yes, my mom, my dad, Tanner, my sister, Brian Crockett for all the good advice today, and On-Site Screeners, Rush Race Gear, TSK Designs, Truck Shop Motors, Ed Boyd Racing, ABC Powder Coating, Earth and Environmental, and it's pretty cool just to see everyone who comes out to all my races and watching online to support me and cheering from home or in the grandstands. Definitely love all my fans and everyone who watches the videos, so thank you guys.
Absolutely. Well,
And Miles.
And Miles. So Cottage Grove 2021, it was a lot of fun, man. I have a smile on my face just because, it was cool to see Carly go fast. And I felt like tonight, we put all of our heads together and we just tried to make the right calls. And like I said, where we started tonight with the race car and where we ended was so similar. The track just held a lot of grip. It didn't slicken off. And when it did, it came back at some point. And that's just part of the Pacific Northwest September, a lot cooler conditions. And the wind was windy at the beginning of the night, and it actually died down as the A main events rolled around. So anyway, what a weekend, or what a Friday night, I should probably say. But now we're headed back home 2 hours south to Southern Oregon. Once again, congrats to Johnny Burke on the win. We're gonna have to get him on the podcast here soon. And also stay tuned, Carly Holmes shirts will be available. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster trying to get her merchandise, but I think I finally have it figured out. So for Christmas coming up, Black Friday, all that, you guys will be able to get your 2021 Carly Holmes shirts. See you guys all in the next one. Proud of Carly, proud of the team, Cottage Grove. It was fun, and no, Carly has more wins coming in her future. See you guys all in the next one, and thank you for riding along with us for our journey. Deuces.